Hi everyone, Imran Pilati here, co-host of the True Sports Cards radio show and podcast replay. I'm here with my son Beckett, and we're excited to have you as our listening audience. Please be sure to subscribe and follow our channel.
I'm ready to start. Let's go.
We're done.
Card Part Saturday, they're riding with you. Best card show in the country is true. So saddle up and listen, find out what you've been missing. You can be a card part too.
Yeah! Hello again, everybody. It's a beautiful day for the True Sports Card Show. Spring has sprung. The tournament is here. Baseball is near. And the playoffs are coming. Have no fear. We're going to celebrate all that and more today with a preview of a huge night at the store. I have questions, and Imran has answers on the hobby's what not worries. And if we have time, I'm going to tell you about Imran and how he actually obtained one of his holy grails.
Oh, we're going to talk about, I'm going to get emotional.
Incredible story. So let's get it rolling by bringing in Mr. True Sports Cards himself. He's known by closed captioning as Imran Plotty, Eronplotty. He's a guy who still thinks his 1988 Joey Meyer rated rookie is going to pay off in a big way. Imran Plotty.
Hey, card guy, shut up and just talk about cards, you idiot.
Imran Plotty.
Talk about colonialism, you idiot. Oh, you missed that, Anthony. It was a hot topic, colonialism, a few weeks back.
How you doing, Iran?
Iran is doing okay. Pilati, P-A-L-T-T-A-I-E.
Okay. This is kind of like the remember Sauce Castillo?
Yes,
Yeah.
instead of Nick Stauskas.
Yeah.
Sauce Castillo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closed captioning has varied options on my spelling of my name. It doesn't matter. Just come and see us at True Sports Cards. We have an incredible event tonight. Very, very excited. I was texting with Dylan last night. That is a flex, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. I was texting with Dylan Cardwell.
I think you're allowed because it's true.
I was texting with Dylan Cardwell.
You're also allowed because I know there are others that you text with that people would go, ooh, and you never bring it up.
I never bring it up. Oh, I only bring it up to you off air.
Right.
Constantly?
Yeah.
Frequently?
I'm talking about the likes of Jay, Kyle Draper, and more.
And more. Alan Stiles.
Yeah.
That guy's famous. I love the drive guys during the week, Monday through Friday from 2 to 6. Alan is so good.
He's very good.
Now you know how I feel with every weekend with our show. Oh, I love your guys' show. Whitey's the best. Thanks, bro. Yeah, we'll leave that moment of silence here. Tonight, Dylan Cardwell, 4:30 p.m. He'll be there signing autographs. For those of you that already purchased your tickets online, we are excited and thank you for doing that. I wanted to let you know that when you come in tonight, those of you that bought your tickets ahead of time, JSA was an option. That's the authentication company showing that the item that you had autographed is real by putting a tamper-proof sticker on there and putting it into a database. I am including the JSA at a value of $12 as part of your session. If you've already paid for that, I'm going to refund you that back.
That is dope.
That is dope, Whitey, on the replay.
That's not whack.
That is not whack. And then if you're coming in today, we have a limited amount of tickets that we have still available for you to buy on site. The earlier you purchase in the day, the better chances for you to do that. Dylan is going to be with us for approximately an hour and change. So we want to respect his time. So we will do that. For those of you that want to come in and get an autograph and snap a selfie with him, that's no problem. Dylan is very excited to be able to meet his fans and ticket holders pick up. We also have custom jerseys, Cardwell jerseys, Kings jerseys. We have those for $40 a piece, as well as photos, 8x10 photos of Dylan, and it comes with a top loader for $8. So we have that as available if you don't have anything to have signed.
That is word not whack because nobody wants to get rinsed.
No, it's like you've turned back time.
Yeah.
It's probably like It's probably like when I would say things like "that is boss."
Yeah.
When was that? When that is boss.
I still use it. I don't know.
I like rinse.
Rinse came from Tyler Soderstrom. Okay, we were talking, and he's a collector. He bought a box of National
Soderstrom
Treasure.
was one of the people I was talking about.
Okay.
When I was saying it's a flex is allowed because you text people and you don't talk about it, and then what do? You start talking about
it's
it.
important that you know that Tyler Soderstrom loves his National Treasures, and
Yeah.
he said something. He bought a box and he was showing me his hits, and he was like, "Dude, I think I got rinsed on this." And I go, "What is that? That's new. I've never heard of rinse before, and I like it." So now you use it for you use it as a colloquialism. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I guess so, yeah.
And I'll look up that word when you're talking about something else. And you use it incorrectly constantly.
I don't think so. I mean, when I come out of the shower, hey, I got rinsed. That works, right?
Hey, wifey, I got rinsed.
Yeah.
No,
That flies.
Yeah. That is boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rinsed is the new thing. And I don't know. There's just these terms, they come and go.
Yeah.
I feel like it's old.
Really?
Is rinse not like old like
I got taken. Like the money was extracted from me and I didn't get anything for it.
Yeah, I feel like
Rinsed.
that's like old timey. I feel like Al Capone would say that.
I don't know because
Oh,
I
I
was
got
talking
rinsed.
to,
See?
Zach Lowe, my nephew who frequents your store, and I was talking to him. I saw him at your store 2 weeks ago.
Your brother's son.
Yeah, Phantom Son.
Phantom Son.
Who's an outstanding basketball coach, was an outstanding college basketball player. And I said something about, I use that term, something about rinsed, and he said, yeah, that's what the kids say now.
Oh, and
That's what
he's,
he said.
and he's
Yeah.
a young guy himself.
Yeah, but he is a teacher.
Right.
Yeah, high school teacher.
So he probably-
Zach Lowe, Lincoln High School, went to Lincoln High School.
Yeah.
I know him.
Do you really?
I know Zach
That's
Lowe.
my nephew.
We worked at the Potters together.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought he was a great podcaster with a low post podcast. Is that the same guy?
He's done a little bit of that, and he's just very good, actually.
There's a different Zach Lowe I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Is Zach going to be there tonight? 4:30?
I don't know.
All right, let's see if we can.
I'm not sure.
Zach, if you're listening, which you probably are not, we'd love to
He
have
does
you
listen
there.
a lot.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because of you?
And I'm sorry I missed your whole Zach Lowe thing. Yeah, you're right. I missed that.
That was really bad.
No, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And I just
Shut up and talk about cards, you idiot.
Oh, he does do a podcast.
He does do a podcast.
Hey, card guy, shut up and just talk about cards, you idiot.
Has that guy ever listened back? The guy that said that?
I'm not sure who it was.
It was some
I think
guy
it was
on-
a lot of
in the in the YouTube chat. The dude was like, "Stop talking about the Kings and let's talk about cards, you idiot." And I was like, "Oh my god, this hurts my feelings." But he was right. He was right.
I did want to. Whoops, I have the wrong show up here. I did want to ask you to before we get into the whatnot and whatnot. How much are you willing to share with us about you and your holy grail, one of your holy grails?
so-
I mean, that's something all collectors, if you're a real collector, you can relate to. We all have our holy grails out there somewhere.
Our listening audience, for the main part, that listen to us live, not on replay, tend to be skewing towards an older demographic. Not saying that we don't have young ones listening that enjoyed the word rinsed that we just used, but mainly skewing older, which I appreciate. And they know about the collecting world. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of an announcement about some card collecting here later in the show. But everybody knows, that's been a follower for us for the last 3 years, that I have 3 sets that I personally collect. They mean the world to me. One is 89 Upper Deck. One is 1986 Fleer basketball. And the third one is 1987 Topps baseball, the wood-bordered one. All 3 of those are easy to obtain, but I decided to take on the task of getting them, collecting the sets autographed. So anybody in 87 Topps, anybody in 89 Upper Deck, and anybody out of 86 Fleer, I collect. I try to get those autographs, and there's holy grails in each set. Jordan in the 86, good luck trying to get that. Sedale Threet in the 86 set, very
Really?
difficult. Yep. Then you have guys like Dawkins, who've passed away, Moses Malone, guys like that there's very few, so they kind of get expensive for real ones. 89 Upper Deck, you have guys that have been in jail or imprisoned. You have guys that have passed away. And then 87 Topps has 2 holy grails. One that's incredibly difficult
And
to
these
get.
are, again, the autos.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've talked about this. It's Ricky Wright, who had his young daughter by name on the back of the card. They were talking about the family. They put the daughter by name. It really pissed him off. He was very mad about that because it wasn't something that he had approved. So he refused to sign Topps cards at that point. In fact, he put a ban on signing all Topps cards at that point, from that point forward. So that 1987 Ricky Wright is nearly impossible to find. I think there was a couple because he had only noticed it after he looked at the back after signing a few, and then was like, "Wait, my daughter's name is on here. I'm not okay with this." So he refused to sign. And the second Holy Grail is a card that we're talking about now. So the card is a manager, and he had passed away a month and a half after the set came out. And that manager is for the Kansas City Royals, Dick Hauser.
He was an outstanding college manager, and then he managed the Yankees and was managing the Royals.
He died of a brain aneurysm roughly about a month and a half after the set came out. Now, this is a holy grail card because obviously it had just come out. He was already having some health problems. And so there are less than 7 or 8 copies that I know of in existence. I've tried my damnedest for years to try to buy one. Well, one came up for sale in a Facebook group. And the person that was selling it is a very well-known collector. He's been around for a long time. He buys into a lot of our autograph sessions when we have a 1987 player. So he was trying to put together the set. Well, it came up available, not authenticated, just the card itself signed. And I got 30 direct messages from friends of mine that are like, "Hey, Imran, it's up. It's here. Because they know
Iran, got good news.
Palatatai. This is available. So I reached out to the guy on eBay because he put it on eBay, and I put an offer of like $1 because he was an OBO or best offer. So I put in an offer of $1 and I said, "Hey, just to let you know, I have interest in this card. Please tell me what would work."
By the way, it was more than $1 because when Imran told me the story the first time, he told me what it was. He doesn't want to say the amount now, apparently, so we'll just go with $1.
We'll use that as the story, but I did reach out to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And nothing happened. No, nothing. I'm at the store a couple days ago, and then Donovan goes, "Hey, Imran, I got a phone call for you." And I said, "Who is it?" And he goes, "I don't know. It's weird. He's talking about a 1987 Dick House." I go, "Give me the phone." So I went ahead and took the call. And he said, "I heard about you. I heard about your story and you collecting that 87 set because it was for you and your late father. And that was the last set that you guys collected. And I want to sell you this card." And I was like, I started getting emotional. I started crying a little bit. It sounds so weird to be crying about a baseball card, but
that's not really what you're crying about.
This is what it's about.
Yeah.
We came to a deal. I Zelled him the money. It's overnighted. I see that it's arriving today.
Wow.
It's arriving today. Now, he also has secondary support that an authentication company, I won't say which one, has already said, yes, it's real. Thank you for paying for the quick opinion. When it's sent in, we will authenticate it and slab it. So once it's in my hands, it's going to go to the authentication company, just so that way I feel good about it. But this is one of those that I thought I was never going to get, and this is going to be one of those sets that I would never be able to complete, but it's the journey of collecting the set. And so now having that in my possession as of later today was going to be pretty emotional to me because I've been chasing this card for nearly 25 years. And for me to be able to do this as a guy that has a lot of cards and it has turned into unemotional in a lot of cases, 99% of the cases, I buy and sell a card like a transaction. This is the one. This is the one that I've been waiting for.
That's the interesting thing to me, having seen where you store a lot of cards, and there's so many, and I go through there when you're nice enough to let me, go ahead, look through whatever you want. And I can't believe all the stuff, and to you it's like, yeah, well, that's inventory. But then these cards that you collect, there aren't a lot, but and you've also shown me your personal collection, and that is just the level of emotion that you have towards those compared to, that's inventory. It's remarkable, but it shows that you're deep down why you're doing this.
But everything that has to do with me and my personal collection almost always falls back to my father. Mm-hmm. Because the reason why I'm even here is because Hassan Palati decided to take me to a baseball card shop when I was 5 years old to kind of get me hooked on it. And when my dad took me to the baseball card shop at 5 years old, and I fell in love with it, and then he passed by the time I was 11. We only had 6 years together to collect by the time that he passed. And he was sick for the last year of his life, so it was really like 5 years. And so when I have anything that attaches me to my father, I'm for it. And it's never for sale, and it'll always stay with me. Dave Henderson, I've told this story before, was the first autograph I ever got from a player. It was in front of a Safeway at Stockton, off of Country Club. It was raining outside. He was in one of those pop-up tents, and he had been hired by Safeway to sign autographs for free, so people were in line waiting in the rain. And Dave Henderson's, right when we got to the front of the line, he goes, "Wait a minute, You little boy, come here. And he goes, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you the whole time. I'm glad you made it. And I looked at my dad like, he was? Like, the fact that with Gap Tooth, Dave Henderson said that to me and then signed that. I still have that card. I still have that card to this day. And I'll never leave me because these are the memories that I want Beckett to have, my son to have. Because I won't be here forever, and I want him to remember me the way that I remember my dad. And I think everybody has that type of a thing going on. And that's why some of the stuff that's happening in the industry today just really upsets me. And we'll talk about that later, but I'm glad that you let me tell that story.
Yeah, that's a great story. How do you know how your dad got started in collecting, or is it just something he thought that...
My dad is an immigrant from Pakistan. He came over to the United States. He went to Cornell University. He fell in love with basketball for some reason. He married my mom, who came from the University of Philippines. They immigrated around the same time. They moved cross country and they lived in Idaho. A Pakistani and a Filipino woman living in Idaho in 1975. That should have been fun. And then they made their way all the way to California. They had me in 77, my sister in 80. And he just loved sports. He was a cricket fan. In fact, some people say that my name Imran came from Imran Khan, who is the greatest cricket player of all time. My dad was a big cricket fan, so he could have named me for that. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask him. But he loved baseball. He loved basketball. He wasn't so much a football guy, but he really loved basketball. And that's why, every day after work, he would come home and he was an insurance salesman, so he wore a suit and tie every day. And before we went inside, when he came home, we shot hoops out in the front yard, and he wouldn't let me win. And then one day I won at 9 years old, and he was pretty pissed. But that's sort of my love for basketball too. So
that leads me to a question I have for you. I can't believe this. I saw this today, and it's in a story from SI.com. It's a story about Frank Thomas. Anybody who collects those, what was that? What year is that? 1990 Topps. Frank Thomas had some.
No name?
Number one draft pick, White Sox, Frank Thomas. There are some that were printed that didn't have a name,
right.
And it was an accident. Now they do that type of thing all the time, and they're very rare and they're pretty valuable. But as I read the story, Imran, I read this and I thought that I've never heard of that because that's a junk wax era.
Correct.
But this headline here in this story, to subheading, says 1990s baseball cards are surging. What? That's the junk wax era. 1990s baseball cards are surging.
Yes. The 1990 Frank Thomas no name has been selling for many years. It's not like it's new, right? It's a 35-year-old card. It's been selling for many years, right around that $1,500 to $3,000 mark, ungraded. As long as it's real, that's kind of what it goes for. I'm looking right now, February 28th of this year, a PSA 7 of that card sold for $19,150.
What the heck?
I don't know what's going on. But we are seeing a resurgence of junk wax era cards of GOATs. Frank's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's a GOAT, greatest of all time. But let's take a Griffey, for example, the Griffey 1989 card. I know that we were talking about the Frank Thomas, but I'm looking at the 89 Griffey Upper Deck.
Iconic card.
I
still don't have one. I need to get one.
PSA 10. Let's see here. Looks like they are going for roughly about, there's a lot of autographed here versions of it, March 19th. Keep in mind, Whitey, these cards were selling 18 months ago for about $2,100. As of March 19th, a closed sale auction. This is not a best offer, meaning people were going for it.
Yeah.
$5,202, $5,202 for a card that 18 months ago was going for $2,100.
This story says many collectors who grew up during the 90s are now in their 30s and 40s, and some are returning to the hobby with the ability to purchase the cards they once dreamed about but could never afford as kids, and that is helping fuel today's baseball card market.
It's wild. And what used to be selling Griffies that were raw, of the 89 Upper Deck Griffey raw, they were going for $30 to $40. Now they're approaching $80 to $100 raw.
Huh.
It's wild. It's really wild. So I'm looking at, we have some sets on our website, truesportscards.com, of 89 cards.
Yeah.
And Griffies are in there. The rookies of Griffey are in
Imran's having one of his
Bowman.
episodes again, Anthony, so stand by. He's having one of his gastric mishaps.
Anthony, you could clip this for the reels. We'll have a burping, hiccuping, dry heaving reel.
Got it.
I'm not even drinking anything.
I know you were cruising along, and then and your shoulders come up, and your eyes close a little bit, and you get a little
Verklempt.
a little hitch in your get along, and then it's.
What you guys don't see that are all radio only right now is that he just gave me T-Rex arms. He's closing his eyes and struggling. Okay, let's get back to cards, you idiot.
But you're okay, right?
I think so.
Okay. But I am right. You did.
My
Something's
esophagus,
going on there.
Something's going on with my esophagus. If there's a doctor in the house that could ear, nose, and throat doctor, that'd be helpful. I can get through this.
We're good. We're good.
Whew.
False alarm.
All right. I'm working my way through this. What the heck was I talking about?
We're talking about
89.
90s.
89.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a sealed, like we have sealed boxes of 89 Donruss wax, that went up a lot. It's almost doubled
Is that
in
the
price.
multicolored borders?
Yes, and it's gone up a lot. Why? Because Griffey rated rookies in there. So when the key card in that set goes up in value, so will everything else that's assigned to that. 89 upper
There's
deck.
good rookies in that set.
Tom Gordon,
I believe.
Greg
the
Jeffries.
Big unit, if I'm not mistaken.
Randy Johnson is in there in 89. Yeah. John Smoltz. Kurt Schilling. I'm trying to think. Greg Olson. These are fun names to remember.
Yeah.
It was an era a little after your youth era. My youth era was during this time. So as the article said that you were referencing,
Yeah.
now that we're in our 40s and we have expendable income, we're going after those cards that we said, oh, remember when we had the Griffey at $20? At $20 when you're 12 years old, you might as well have said $1 million because it was pretty unattainable for us unless our parents bought that for us, or we ended up pulling it from a pack. I remember 89 score Barry Sanders, $25. Holy! I mean, again, just put out $1 million for a little kid.
Right.
Unless you pulled it from that 50-cent pack, it was just unattainable to buy it on your own with your paper out money. So now that we have the expendable income, we're back. We're ready to spend. We're ready to buy. I think you, Whitey, as you're completing some of your 70s basketball, 80s basketball sets, these are prices that you're willing to pay that you just weren't able to or didn't want to pay when you were younger. And now that you have some
Right.
expendable income, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for it because I need to complete this, not because of the value of the set, but because of the completion of it to say, this is a years-long journey to get here. And that's why I tell people when they come in and sell me cards, hey, I have an 86 Fleer set. Yes, that's great. I appreciate it. I love the fact that there's a Jordan in there or whatever. But for set collectors, they don't like to buy the entire set. Maybe some people say, I'll take the investment. Sure, I'll buy the 132 count set. No problem. But people are like, no, I'd rather put it together, right? Maybe the Jordan's the very last card I get, but I need to go get a nice Clyde Drexler rookie, or the Worthy rookie, or the Sedale Threet, or the Rory Sparrow, and they're hand collating the set, because then once that's completed, they're like, all right, what's the next set I can complete?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the collectors. So one of the things that we had in our store for many years, Shep had put this together, was 52 through 1975 sets in binders of just loose commons, and people would come through, particularly older collectors. They'd come through and they'd look and they'd have their very handwritten curled paper, because they've been writing on it so long, of all the ones that they need in their set, and people love that. And I took it away and I put it online. I put it on our eBay store. So I will tell you that the empty binders with the 1953, 1954, they're all still in the back, and they have pages, and all the pages are empty because I empty that, and I'm gonna bring them back. So I think in the next couple of weeks we'll start putting them back in the store for you vintage collectors that want to keep trying to finish those sets. We're gonna start putting those in there for you, and have you have the fun to come and sit down and put your sets together.
I have the 87 and the 88 Fleer basketball sets. And
Yeah,
I
the
was
white border.
I was here at the time in the area, but I don't remember where. Maybe I just wasn't in
88's Pippen rookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 86 set, I never. I
Not
don't
for
know
you?
either. Well, I don't either. It wasn't available where I got cards, or I hadn't gotten back into it yet. Unfortunately, because as you said, that's the big ticket set.
Yeah.
86.
Yeah, it is. 86 Fleer. Did you see what came in the other day for us
No.
to sell?
No.
We had a holy S moment. And the S was because
Watch your language.
fiddlesticks. So somebody came in, great new customer. We'd never worked with him before, but he was referred to by one of our great customers, Kevin. Said, go talk to Imran. He brought in an uncut sheet.
I did see that. I saw you holding that up.
1980-81 Topps basketball uncut sheet with 2 Magic Bird rookies on the sheet. That is unreal. Now, do you know what a PSA 10 goes for?
Well, just of that Bird Magic, was that Julius?
And Julius is in the middle. Yep.
It's a ton.
A ton.
Ton of money.
If you were to guess, what would you say that'd be? 1980 Topps Bird Magic PSA 10.
$120,000.
Great guess. It is 6 figures. Let's see what the last one went
I mean,
for.
the reprints go for a lot.
March 7th, a Gem Mint NBA Diamond Certified, $622,000. So could somebody take this sheet with today's technology, not 1980s cutting machine, today's technology, could they buy that sheet and use a laser cutter to give them that sharp PSA 10? They got 2 shots at it with a sheet, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it worth it? Would you cut it out?
What would it be worth as is? What's the difference?
I'm in the middle of trying to determine the value of that.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I mean, there may be no real reason to do that, right? To risk that.
Everyone that's cut.
You know, you
The
got
other
the
ones are
laser
worth
cutter,
more.
and somebody says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Ah!
Is that what they do? They're not
Yeah.
paying attention during
Right,
one of the
right.
most critical cuts of
Yeah.
the. But so what's a PSA 9? A PSA 9. We sold an 8 the other day. So a PSA 9 went for $16,800 on February 22nd. Big difference. Big difference. So I don't know. I don't even know how to cut a sheet nowadays. I don't with today's quality control from their current with the current players. The current companies. I wouldn't trust it right now either.
Get me my garden pruners.
Hey, wife, have you seen my pair of pliers? Yeah, I don't know what the plan is for it, but we are in the process of trying to determine value because for the right dollars, the seller is
I
willing
did
to
see
sell it.
pictures of that. I know you posted those on. I think I saw it on Instagram.
It's on Instagram.
Incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Incredible. Yeah.
And I haven't even shown you the other ones that I have. I'll be posting the other ones. I'll tell you one right now. It's 61 Fleer football.
Wow.
Full sheet. How about 1981 Topps football? Full sheet with the Montana on it. Like, yeah, I have photos of those I'll be sharing shortly too. The same seller. He bought them all from the National 35 years ago at the Moscone Center in San Francisco.
Have you ever come across, it was a test set, and I think it was late 60s, of Topps basketball, that it was a test set, so only people that worked there got them. They're black and white. They were never released. But, you know the players that were playing at that time. Have you ever even heard
What
of that?
year?
I think it was the year before they came out with those tall boys, and what would that have been, 69 or whatever?
So I've seen some of that stuff that had a lot of the ABA guys on there. There was like Issel, Dampier. I've seen some of that stuff because I've had those guys sign those items before. Uncut sheets are very difficult to store, very difficult to display, but obviously incredible stuff. I will tell you that how does a sheet like that make it out of the factory? It's usually employees, which is kind of funny because I know a guy that owns a shop in the is it Carlsbad?
Carlsbad, California.
Is that down south by
Yes, San Diego.
Yeah, near San Diego. So because
Legoland.
yes, so there's a guy that owns a card shop down there. Great guy, can't remember his name, but he comes in the shop every once in a while when he comes up north, and he says that he has a lot of Upper Deck exclusive stuff that went to employees because he's right there where the Upper Deck factory was. So when these exclusive cards were given to the employees go, "That's cool." and I'm going to go over to the card shop and sell it. So he has a lot of unique stuff there that for sale that isn't available anywhere else. So I'm curious, as these manufacturing companies are located in, like, for example, Carrollton, Texas, I think is where Panini is. Do they get specific things, and some of the card shops there get unique and different items coming from employees only? I don't know.
This would probably be my holy grail. 1968-69 Topps basketball, a test set. It was all black and white, 22 cards, and it was never released. But there are a few of them out there. They're very, 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 very scarce and valuable.
And that's why you're so excited about it, because that's an era that you collected. My era of collection of stuff that's like that would be 89 Upper Deck. There was 3 or 4 players on the Angels, and they were friends with Richard McWilliam, who is the owner of Upper Deck, that started Upper Deck, who's since passed away. But there was Wally Joyner. There was, I think, Dwayne
Bice?
Yeah, Dwayne Bice.
Yeah.
So, and it might have been Doug DeCinces. I don't remember. But there's 3 or 4 different Upper Deck promo versions that had come out.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was before the sets were even released. It was kind of like a tester set, kind of like what you were talking about. And so those have some serious value in them too.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the hobby conversation right now that's like fueling the industry?
Yeah, let me just share this as some background. This is from The Athletic. Whatnot, one of the sports card industry's largest online sales platforms, is being accused of conducting an unlawful gambling scheme and violating the RICO Act by allowing sellers to hold randomized box breaks and randomized repacks breaks on its platform. Paul Lesko, St. Louis-based attorney, known for his sports card legal commentary and social media, says he's filed 15 arbitration demands, represents 30 clients with claims against Whatnot. Whatnot has responded with a statement in which they said, we absolutely reject the characterization in this complaint. Gambling isn't allowed on Whatnot, and we strictly enforce this policy, but it's created a lot of controversy and some turmoil in the hobby.
My hands are sweating for what we're about to talk about. I'm in a weird position because I'm a card shop owner. I have done Whatnot for years. We haven't recently, in the last 60 days or so. I kind of came off the platform. I will tell you that we will go back on platform. I don't know when. It could be next week. It could be 3 years from now, but we'll end up using live selling. I think live selling is going to be a very important component of the hobby moving forward. In fact, Fanatics has leaned in heavily towards breakers. In fact, again, and I'm using a second in fact in a row, the allocation for breakers are significantly higher than card shops. I'm going to the Topps Industry Conference in less than 2 weeks. I'll be in Arizona for this. It's kind of the yearly get-together of breakers and hobby shop owners to talk about the industry, where it's going, what they see. I feel like the Topps football release will be probably coming out directly after that, maybe
Would
like
you
a
say
couple days.
this is something pushing back against breaking overall, or just specifically the way Whatnot does it?
Okay, so there's 2 forms of selling on Whatnot. One is breaking. Well, there's three of them. One is breaking product that's coming from a manufacturer. Sealed boxes, sealed cases. Pick a team, pick your player, whatever the format is that seller does. They open sealed product. Nobody knows what's in it, or they're supposed to not know what's in it. And then you're given and mailed back whatever it is that you're pulled on camera that's allotted to you, whether it's a team, a player, whatever. The second way is repacks, meaning that somebody hand collated something, they put it into something sealed, and then you're bidding on it. You don't know what you're getting, and then they open it on camera and then they sell it to you. And then the final one is third is live selling of actual singles that you can see. Here's a 1980 Ricky Henderson PSA 8 rookie card. Bid, closed. Ta-da, you're the winner. So there's 3 things that are done on live selling. eBay Live has a platform, Loop, Fanatics Live. There's different platforms, but Whatnot is the biggest because for lots of reasons, but one of them is a very low threshold to get involved, to get in. The vetting process in eBay Live is really strict, which I love because it says that I've got a legitimate person that has really been vetted to even be on there.
eBay, I know, really looks out for the customer, the buyer.
So much
They
so
go out of
that
their way to
sometimes
protect the buyer.
so much so that as a power seller myself, it's very like, really?
Yeah.
But I
But
understand.
you know that going in and they're clearly they lean that way.
Absolutely. And it also says that the comps we hope are legitimate, right? A real buyer, a real seller, the comps are legitimate. When 99% of the industry prices it based on eBay sales closings, it's really important to know that it's a legitimate sale that happened.
I will say this, and you could speak to this better than I could, but eBay, and just in the short time that I've been selling cards on eBay, the tools now that are available to buyers and sellers, just light years ahead of what it was, just even 3 to 5 years ago.
Right. So the problem with Whatnot has been some of the scamming that have been going on. I'll give you 4 or 5 examples, a couple from each one. And when it comes to box breaks, we're talking about closed sealed product, wax box, wax case, whatever that be.
And I would buy into this because
Fractional.
my risk is less and my reward could still be about what it already was.
Let's use an example,
theory.
Whitey. Let's use an example of Topps Chrome basketball. Right now, if I had it on my shelf, which I don't, it'd be at $1,200 a box. Okay. Would you, Whitey, real life, not role play, would you spend $1,200 on a box like
No.
that? Okay. But what if you had 32 teams and you were able to get into the team and you would have a randomized team and that box is there and it's got
I'd
20
be stunned
packs?
because that would mean the NBA already added 2 teams.
Okay, 30 teams.
And Seattle and Las Vegas made it in without me even knowing it.
I'm really good at this. I promise you I'm a professional. So 30 teams in the
I got you.
NBA.
Yeah.
But you could get into that box for $65 a
I'm
team.
thinking about that.
Would
yeah.
you? That's a yes,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
Could end up with the Spurs, or you could end up with the Mavs, but you could end up with the Kings, but it's $65, right? Would you take a chance on that?
Yes.
Okay. $66 times 30 is $2,000. What does that tell you?
It tells me that somebody's
The breaker is able to charge $800 more for the box than I am because they fractionalize it to where Whitey Gleason feels pretty good about spending $65.
So everybody shares. The risk is lowered for everybody.
And then I'm looked at it and they go, "Hey, Imran, that's really expensive." Yeah, I agree with you. It's very expensive to be on my shelf. Remember, I paid for it to be there already. So wax margins are very thin. We talked about that before. Singles are, we have a little bit better margins, but wax margins are very thin. But when you have a breaker that's able to charge $2,000 for a $1,200 retail box because it's split 30 ways at $65, that puts you in a position that's like, how can I compete with that? So the breakers are going to constantly be there. Then what ends up happening is it goes through the industry. So you take now let's say that they hit a Cooper Flag refractor. The card's worth $350, $400. I'm using an example. It could be more or less right now. Okay, they're into it for $65, right? So now they go on eBay and they want to sell it. And let's say everything consistently sells at $400 for that Cooper Flag card, but somebody offers $325. Sure, why not? I'll take it. I'm only into it for $65. Well, guess what that does to every other card? It creates a new comp at $325, and everybody else is paying strong at $400. So they're like, wait a minute, it just went down in value. Why would somebody sell it for $325? Well, duh, they're only into it for $65. More money's less problems. So they're able to cash out independent of, I don't care what the value is. And then they state it out loud. I've been in real estate for 25 years. Imagine you bought a house on your block for $500,000 and a guy sells his house for $375. You're like, what are you doing, dope? Well, I only got it for $150. What do I care? Well, we care because we all paid retail value for that. Now, that begets the next problem.
Yeah, but that's all legit. There's nothing illegal about that.
Correct, but what about that's correct, but what ends up happening is it lifts the price of everything because now when a secondary wholesaler says, well, why would I sell it to Imran that box for $1,050 when I can sell it to the breaker for $1,400? They'll pay for it. Now all of a sudden you guys look at me and go, how come you don't have that on the shelf? Why is it $1,400? Well, because the rebuy is now $1,350 because they can sell it to breakers who are selling for $2,000. Oh, not my problem, says the customer, and then they go to the breaks. So it's a very difficult position. And as a wholesaler, how do you reject more money from somebody willing to buy 3 times more than a hobby shop? It's very difficult for them to say, sure, I'm good with that. No problem. I'll sell to you for less. And you're buying less from us, when they could sell to a breaker who does much more in volume.
Yeah.
And is ultimately making more, which allows them to spend more.
Yeah. I understand that. That's why what they do undermines what you're trying to do, but it's not necessarily illegal.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
But now let's move forward.
Yeah.
So let's say that you buy a box and let's say that you bought that $65 spot and they pull a Cooper Flag gold autograph.
Woo!
Number to 50, and it's worth $7,000.
Yeah, that paid off.
You have breakers now, smaller ones, not the big boys, and even the big boys, sometimes there's some issues, but some of these smaller breakers, they go, hey, Whitey, I'm sending you a message after the show. Want to let you know my dog ate the card. Sorry, I'm going to refund you your money. Sorry about that. You get back your
at least I'm getting a refund.
You're getting your 65 back.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, what? What are you talking about? There was a guy that used AI to show that his dog chewed up a Jack Caglione signed card. Okay? I'm not lying. This is a true story. Sent it to the guy and said, sorry, this is what it looks like now. It's like, really? He ate through a top loader and took bites out of it, and pieces of the top loader in the middle are missing, but it's on the sides. Like, totally AI.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're saying, I don't care. I'm just going to keep this card because I gave Whitey back his money. I gave him back his $65. Meanwhile, they're pocketing a card that was allotted to you through the break.
So I never really had a shot at that card.
Well,
that's
didn't
part
think,
of what I paid
he
for.
didn't think he was going to be pulling a $5,000 or $6,000 or $8,000 card on a $65 spot.
Yeah.
So he'd rather just refund you the money, deal with whatever drama you're going to try to start up. So the people are saying, wait a minute, I'm entitled to the card that was pulled, and the seller pulled the rug from under me, gave me my money back. Yes, I didn't lose anything, but I'm entitled to a $7,000 or $8,000 card, and they're not getting it. So that's an issue that's coming from the breaking side of sealed product. The next problem might come from where the repack products come from. They generally know what's in a repack product. So Whatnot says, hey, you cannot have your own repack product that you sell on your own because you know what's in those boxes. So you have to buy from a third-party repacker. Okay, let's say that Joe Repacker sells to Whitey the streamer. You think that I'm not going to be like, you don't think Joe Repacker is going, Whitey, these 2 over here have big hits. These 20 don't have any big hits. Here you go. So what if they're a secondary company that's doing that? That doesn't prevent them from telling the Whatnot streamer what's in those bags. So now all of a sudden, let's just say that you have a guy that only buys 1 bag or 2 bags or 3 bags. You want to reward the guy that just bought 40 bags, right? So when we know that the guy's buying, all we have to do is pick the bag that is a hit, quote unquote hit, for a guy that spends a lot of money with me, keeping him happy because he's buying 20 bags versus a guy buying 1 bag, mystery bag. Now all of a sudden that's a conflict, right? Or how about, we promise you a value of a floor no less than $50 a card, and the upside can be up to $3,500 a card. And the thing closes at $200 a bag. They're auctioning a bag. What's to say that they don't hold back the $3,500 card in the bag until the very end? Because if there's 200 bags that they have and one of them has a $3,500 card and the rest of them are $200 cards, what if you pull the bag that had the $3,500 card at the beginning? Then the rest of the bags people wouldn't buy.
Are you telling us or suggesting that this is an industry that needs more regulation? I know that according to this lawsuit, quote, Whatnot represents that it operates a marketplace where live shopping helps connect buyers and sellers. This is a false front, the cases claim. Functionally, Whatnot operates an unregulated online casino where it exploits its customer base by encouraging compulsive spending and in the process generates billions in revenue without providing the safeguards required of regulated gambling operations, end quote. is this gambling disguised as, oh, we're just connecting card buyers with card sellers?
I'm very open in my life regarding I've been very transparent over the years about my addiction to gambling that I had when I was younger, in my 20s and early 30s. I went to a 12-step program, Gamblers Anonymous, in order to stop me from sports betting. Since I left that program, I've never bet on a game once since. Even though I know odds and statistics, that doesn't mean that I act on that. I play poker. I play poker very rarely in a cash game. I'm more of a tournament player. I know my risks going in financially. We're all playing poker against each other with the chips in front of us. It doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account versus me. We all have the same amount of chips. It's all about strategy. I love that. No issues there. But when it comes to gambling, I had an addiction that was really, really bad, to the point where I was betting on games that I didn't even watch. I didn't know much about the games. 100 here, $200 here, $500 there, on games that I didn't even watch. And it was a real problem. And I know for a fact that the endorphins that I felt gambling are the same as when you're in a whatnot auction trying to win a bid. And when you have sellers that have a card out there and they're screaming and yelling, Don West style, shop at home, oh my goodness, chat, we got to get this price up. And they've got cards and they're in the tens to 20s to hundreds to thousands of dollars. And you've got 7 seconds sudden death, which means that they don't reset the clock. It goes 7 seconds and everybody's just swiping right like it's Tinder. Yes, bid. And each one is circumventing and going higher than the previous bid before. You get addicted. You're just swiping. And come to find out, this card that I thought I was buying and I spent $80 on, the previous sales, the last 5 sales have gone for $50. I paid $30 over the previous, and that's the low end scenario, Whitey. I'm talking about, we see people that spend hundreds over a card, and you have, again, very few whatnot sellers, but the few are just such bad apples. Chat, we're low. This is a $700 card, $800 card. They're manufacturing comps. That's not even the truth. It might be a $300 card. They're yelling that it's $700. So as a bidder, you're bidding. And next thing you know, you quote unquote overpaid. Again, I don't have a problem that you're buying. That's not an issue to me. My problem is that somebody legitimately paid $800 for a card that's worth $500. That should be a stated comp. Comps are what somebody paid for it. They legitimately paid. It came from their credit card. It's done. The seller then sends it to them. If there was a way to document that card that previously sold for $500 now sold for $800, no issues, because now it lifts all, just like the card that sold too low brings them all down. The card that sells high should bring them all up. The problem with whatnot is that they don't require you to input what that card is before the auction happens. If you went to buy, I love Banksy as an artist. If you went to Christie's auction or you went to Sotheby's, we're going to talk about the item, we're going to display it, we're going to describe it, we're going to provenance it, we're going to do all this stuff, and it's going to go for auction, and you're going to know all about it. With whatnot, it's like, here's the card, you've seen it for 1 second, you got 7 seconds to make a decision. It's like, wait a minute, what? So if we were able to input, it's a 1986 Michael Jordan PSA 8 rookie card, and then you run the auction knowing that auction number 15 is going to be that, then it's documented for whatever it sells for. That's my problem with whatnot, is that we can now use that as a comp because somebody really did pay for that. The other problem with the singles is that you don't know who's shill bidding on the side. So let's say that you have a dirty whatnot seller that says, hey, I'm going to be selling this card 7 seconds. Meanwhile, they have their buddy over here putting in a max bid to protect them. So let's say that you have a card that's worth $100. Right? So the buddy on the side max bids $95 and everybody's swiping, right? The dirty whatnot seller knows that he's not going to lose money on this card because he's got his buddy putting in there a max bid, which prevents him from losing the amount. So he just has to have somebody else win. Now, if the buddy wins, no big deal. The buddy's transaction goes through and then they just switch money back for the card later. It's a dirty place to be right now.
By the way, speaking of the shill bidding, have you heard about this case involving alt, where somebody had a card up for auction and then wasn't comfortable with the bidding, and then reached out to, what did I say the place is? Alt?
Yeah.
Yeah, and asked them, hey, my brother, depending on the auction price, was interested in the card. I told him I don't know if that's allowed or not for him to bid on the card, and then I'd ask. And then the person at the company said, if you won your own card and it was paid, it wouldn't be a problem. If you're bidding it up with no intent to pay, they would have a problem. Ha ha. So basically, he said, can my brother bid on this? And the company told him, as long as somebody pays for it. And so eventually the guy was banned from the site, but apparently the employee still works there.
Right.
Yeah. In the final hours of the auction, this person sent a message to the Alt employee. Yeah, I just spoke with my brother, told him he will not be paying for the cards if he wins. And so basically Alt was like, oh, yeah, as long as somebody pays for it.
We don't care who, as long as somebody pays for it and we
Yeah.
can collect our fee.
But this was all documented, and obviously you cannot do that.
Apparently you can.
Uh-huh.
At least they asked permission.
Mm-hmm.
So who's at fault, the guy that did it or the company that allowed it?
The guy says, I did regret doing this truthfully. I felt like such an idiot once it went down the way it did. If they would have told me I can't do it, I would have for sure been like, well, it is what it is. I wasn't sure if this was even legal. That's why I asked the question. And while it's many places it's not legal, certainly it's unethical. And so the guy checked, can I do this? And he was still, oh.
And I want to say this, 99% of the sellers on Whatnot are legitimate. They work hard. They put out good inventory. But it's the 1%ers that make it a cesspool for the rest of us. And I will tell you that as a card shop that buys almost everything that walks in the door, we buy everything because we have all the platforms to sell them on, whether it's online, our website, truesportscards.com, our card shows that we do, the shop itself, private sales, consignment sales. We do everything. So we buy it all. And I have the bad beat stories all the time walk in the door every day. I got rinsed. I got taken advantage of. I got hyped up. I had a beverage and I bet too much. As an adult, it's your responsibility to know your budget of what you're willing to do. But if they're class action arbitration against this, they're now saying we need to have something on Whatnot if it's considered an online gambling platform that allows the person to self-police themselves and say, give me a limitation of what I can spend, or basically be my designated driver in this situation. Help me not put myself in a bad situation by having a button on your website or on your app that allows me to restrict the amount that I can spend, restrict the amount of time on there, or even ban me from the app because I don't have the self-control to do it. And as somebody that went through addictive gambling, as for those that have never gone through it and go, you're an adult, you should deal with it. I'm telling you right now, it's very difficult. And I had to do it myself. Mm-hmm. So people don't understand until they're in that boat themselves.
Yeah. As far as this case goes, it sounds like it comes down, at least legally, to the definition of gambling. The legal claim says functionally Whatnot operates an unregulated online casino where it exploits its customer base by encouraging compulsive spending and in the process generates billions in revenue without providing the safeguards required of regulated gambling operations. So that's what it sounds like a lot of this comes down to. Hey, this is gambling, this is online gambling, it needs to be regulated, and Whatnot saying, no, this breaks. This is part of the hobby. It's not gambling.
Yeah, here's the last way that I would describe it, and we'll close out on a good note with today's Cardwell signing and a recap, etc. Imagine that you're playing at a casino and you have you're playing blackjack, 21, and there's a side bet there that you put there that would pay you 100 to 1 if you get ace king suited, as an example. 100 to 1. You put that in there for $5. If it hits, it pays you $5,000. If it doesn't hit, they just take the $5. That's the sucker bet. That's how they make a lot of money, because it just is so rare to happen, as an example. So what'll happen, I don't know the odds, but that's as an example. Now imagine it hits and the casino goes, oops, sorry, here's your $5 back, and pick up your chips, and you're not allowed to play anymore, and now we're 86ing you from the casino. You're like, what? So the one time that it hits, you're banning me, you're giving me my $5 back, and you're not allowing me to play, yeah, we don't want to pay it out. That's exactly what's happening with Whatnot, with these sellers that are going, I pulled a Cooper Flag autograph on your dime. My dog ate it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's your $5 back, and we're also blocking you for not coming back.
Yeah.
And you as the consumer go, hey, Whatnot, I just legitimately lost $5,000 on an opportunity, and my recourse is they gave me my money back.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it? And Whatnot goes, sorry, that's a real problem, and that's not good. And again, because the items are not documented as an actual card or enforcing what was pulled on camera, that's been the real problem, and that's what the Paul Lesko attorney is looking at for this whole thing.
In that case you described, clearly you're paying for a chance that you never really had. Because if you do win, you ain't gonna win.
You can win when a legitimate, ethical Whatnot seller is doing that for you. And so you think about that too, is who are you breaking with? Who is it that, do you trust this person? Are their reviews legitimate? Have you seen any of the issues? And one of the biggest, I won't even say who it is, this guy, the kids would say crash out. He's screaming and yelling at the chat, dropping F-bombs at him, saying you need to pay more or else I'm not going to ship it. One guy said, I'm going to dox you. I'm going to put your information out there because I have your mailing address if you don't tip me to make up for the difference. Crazy stuff. I'm serious, Whitey. I'm not kidding. Could you imagine having your entire address put out there by one of the biggest streamers and jerks out there because you didn't tip him money to make up for what he felt was short on that? That's crazy. And that's what's going out there. And yet you can only complain so much. Stop going to these guys.
Right.
Go to your local card shop, whether it's me or anybody else here local or whoever you're listening, go to the local card shop, build a relationship. Because when you come into our store, you can see the card, touch the card, feel the card, see the condition, talk about it, negotiate with us. We will work with you. But
they don't like you to taste it, but
well, unless it's the Cooper Flag and then my dog ate the card. But what I'm getting at is support local. If you're able to build relationships, the local card shop will work with you. And I have a guy that says, I'm your best customer. Like, bro, you've never bought one card for me. It's always outgo money to you. I'm your best customer, buddy. So one of those things is I just want to make sure that people know that your local card shops or your local dealers are some of the best people to work with because you have recourse. Right? Go look at our Google reviews. We got 500 Google reviews, 5-star reviews, more than anybody. And what that gives me pride in knowing that we're taking care of our customers and having a good relationship with them. And so that means more to me than trying to, snake them out of a few bucks here or there. That's not even worth it to me. It's not even a question that I would do something so stupid. But when you're working with somebody that you've never seen their face before, you only see their hands on camera, they're from Alabama in the middle of the mom's basement and they're selling you stuff, and then they hit something that's a life-changing card on your dime and decide to cancel it and then recourse you back whatever you paid for the spot. I can't say that's on you, but I can't say that that's something that would happen
fool me
locally.
once, shame on you. Fool
Correct.
me twice.
I'm sorry that we're on our our soapbox today, but I think it's really important for people to hear that it's a buyer beware situation.
Yeah, and it's Dylan Cardwell Day.
It is Dylan Cardwell Day, 4:30 at True Sports Cards. We'd love to see you. We have jerseys and photos available. Come on by. Tickets are still available for Dylan Cardwell. We'd love to see you in the shop.
Yeah, we'll see you at the store, and we'll talk to you next week on the True Sports Card Show.
Right next door to the card store.
Talking about True Sports Card Store, yeah.
Card store.